Plaintiff Emiko Moore says growing up, the defendant was her best friend, and they could talk about anything. However, Emiko claims their friendship fell apart after the defendant called her a cougar and said Emiko would never amount to anything more than someone's mistress. She's suing for the balance on a loan and emotional distress. Defendant Roderick Mark says he has been Emiko's support system for years. But he's tired of listening to a woman who keeps getting dumped every 6 months. Roderick says he should be charging Emiko for all the counseling sessions, and he feels Emiko is suing prematurely.
Tell me what happened.
Good morning, Judge
Good
Mathis.
morning.
It's an honor to have you presiding over the case this morning. Growing up, Roderick and I were very close. Roderick, I always called him my brother, but honestly, he was more like a sister. And I say this because I could talk to him about anything. Roderick was my go-to guy. If I was having relationship problems, I would call Roderick and we would talk about it. And he loves to gossip, so we could talk about anything. He was my confidant. We were very close.
Give me some examples of him gossiping.
I'm saying, for example, an athlete that I know, and I might tell him something about that person.
Tell me when he did do something, not that he might. That's speculation.
Okay. He would tell people that I live with my friend who's a football player and I need to move out of their house. I'm grown. I don't need to be living in this person's house anymore.
Did you do that?
Things like that.
Yes, I was her Dr. Phil.
But gossiping means you discuss it with others.
I may have ran it by my mom, so I don't really consider that to be gossip.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
That's not true. He told other people. Friends will come back and circle around and tell me things.
So that's an example. All right, what else you want me to know about your friendship?
The relationship basically fell apart when he called me a cougar and said that I would never amount to anything more than someone's mistress.
What happened? You said you all had a great relationship. He was your confidant. He was this, he was that. Then suddenly he flipped on you and said, you're never going to be anything but somebody's mistress, you cougar, you.
Exactly.
I'm saying, where did that come from? Because last I knew, you all were great friends.
Well,
so he just
it was a result of a personal loan that I extended to him. He got angry and upset.
It became an issue regarding that.
Well, I'm an aggressive woman. I admit that. I mean, I went to the University of California at Berkeley. I got my master's degree from the American University.
You're doing a lot of boasting over here.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you know, professional football player, you understand. University of California, Berkeley, you know, that's the top college in the country. You know that, don't you, Judge? Okay, I got you. We love that. We're proud of you. So let's start with you, sir, in terms of your background. Then we'll get back to the loans you're suing him for.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a real simple case. Basically, you know, I've sat on the phone and I've been this woman's support system. What man do you know that wants to listen to a woman who's getting dumped every 6 months?
That's not true. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Because he liked to gossip. That's right.
And so basically, for the most part, I've sat up and I've listened to this woman and so forth. And then, you know, she's the type of person where if she's walking down the street in a park and a leaf drops on her head, she's going to go get 3 lawyers and sue the city.
Okay. And that's probably why these men don't last very long, because if she's in that athletic circle and she's a highly educated and independent woman, that's not what they want. These athletes, the ones they marry are the women that they met in college. That's who they marry. That's how that goes. So don't chase around. Not chased. I know they're probably chasing you.
Exactly.
But don't go for that game. They just want to run through you. I tell my daughters all the time, don't go for that athlete game. They're running through you. All right, go ahead.
I don't know if you've heard of that song by Kanye, Gold Digger. This is a gold digger move. I lost my job. I'm suing my job, and I'm going to be, it looks very promising that I'm going to get my job back. She's anticipating that I'm going to receive some money, so she's asking for an amount that's beyond my comprehension. I need to be billing her for all these counseling services.
What part don't you understand?
I don't understand the emotional distress when she was harassing me through my phone while I was trying to raise my family and have a good time with my girlfriend. I'm living a good life. I don't need all this.
What profession are you in?
I'm a youth counselor, but I'm fighting to get my job back as a probation officer.
Okay, excellent. Good to hear that. And ma'am, why are you suing him for this loan, $3,700? What happened?
I loaned Mr. Marks back in 2009. I have a breakdown. Would you like to see
Yes.
it?
She's got a lot of papers over here.
I came well
Highly
prepared.
educated woman. She came well prepared. And I'm not being funny about that. I was kind of messing with you earlier, but no, I'm very impressed with your credentials.
Thank you, sir. And I only said that to illustrate to you that I am an aggressive businesswoman, and I own that. I'm not saying that I'm not, and most men can have a problem with an aggressive woman.
That's why I told you. That's why they running from you. They get intimidated.
Hey, you're right. You're right.
They can't put two words together, and you are talking over their head, talking down to them.
Exactly.
So they go, exactly. You shouldn't be talking down to nobody. All right, and what did he tell you the purpose of the loan was for? $3,700.
To pay the taxes on his house. It was approximately May of '09
What was the agreement on repayment?
when he received his settlement from his lawsuit.
And was there an estimated time?
Approximately 1 year.
All right, so
That's not true.
when?
We didn't have an estimated time because I'm sure with you being in the legal field, you're well aware that situations can drag on.
So what did you think if your lawyer was too incompetent to get you something, say within 10 years, she should wait 10 years? When does it end?
Well, it ends when you agree to a certain agreement. And if the agreement said that we would finish off the loan at the end of the lawsuit, I mean, what part am I not understanding? I mean,
You're not understanding the fact that consists of a reasonable amount of time. You're not understanding. One lawyer says, Judge, I need 6 months to study this case. Then he has to pass the case on to another lawyer. That new lawyer says, Judge, I need 6 months to brief up on it. Then the judge says, well, you all keep playing games. Let me push this. And it ends up being 10 years. Now, do you understand? Now, what part don't you understand from that?
I understand.
Yeah, well, don't give me no lesson talking about what part don't I understand. Go ahead. $3,700. He agreed to pay you that.
He paid back $1,000.
He's giving you
$1,000 of the $3,000. It was a $2,000 remaining balance. So we entered into a new agreement March of this year, and I have the text message to substantiate this information. In March of this year, he made a $100 payment towards that $2,000 balance. Then he skipped a month and then paid another $100 payment in May of this year. And then in June, he made another payment of $100, bringing his remaining balance to $1,700. At that time, he sent me a text in June stating that he would not be making another payment until August.
Okay, sir, let me hear from you on the repayment.
We didn't have a structured payment plan that said per month. I was just doing it as a gesture because I felt bad that I couldn't pay all the money back. I'm going through a short sale of my property right now, so I have to pay relocation fees and so forth. And so basically,
What did you tell her about August?
I said I wouldn't be able to make July, but I would reassume in August.
Okay.
Because I'm going through some fine. Well, when I got hit with some paperwork, I just pulled the plug on it.
So no. The answer is no?
No.
Okay. All right. So why? And was there some part of that deal you didn't understand?
Well,
what part didn't you understand? you have your evidence where he said that?
Your Honor, may I also add some information?
Sure.
I brought a piece of evidence, and we talked about the fact that these things can drag on. Well, she knew that I had a trial date for April the 15th of 2013. I have the evidence.
You see what I'm saying? The trial is only scheduled to start 4 years from the time you borrowed the money. And you think this woman is supposed to keep waiting on your trial 4 years later? Hey, man, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Judge Mathis.
You can't just keep stringing this woman out, and you didn't want to. That's why you were a good enough guy to start repaying her. Hello, the 100 is in your account, and you admit to saying that, right?
Yes, that's
So you
correct.
breached that contract, and so when you breach, she's able to recover all of it at one time. And the emotional distress you're suing about, how does he owe you for that?
We entered into a series of verbal, heated discussions. Obviously, after he stopped making the payments, I was trying to make basically a futile attempt to collect the remaining balance. He became very boisterous and insulting, and it just escalated and to a point where we could no longer even communicate, and we just went back and forth in text messages.
How much you want for that? How much you want for an argument?
My blood pressure went up.
Your blood pressure
Yes, sir. I
went
have
up.
a letter from my doctor. Would
Some
you like
doctor
to see
you
it?
done been, I mean, some doctor you know. I say some doctor you've been around.
No.
What do you think I was going to say?
I have a letter from my pastor.
Some doctor you've been around.
I have a letter from my pastor, too.
What pastor is that, ma'am?
It's right there, sir. My pastor.
New Beginnings, Kim Anderson. You never had high blood pressure before?
No, sir. Never.
All right. And has it gone down yet?
Yes, it was.
All right. So you didn't suffer any permanent damage?
No, sir.
Okay. The 1,700 is your judgment. You're nobody tell me your blood pressure went up, give her 2,000 because she had an argument with the man. Collection companies all over the world will be going to the doctor. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff, 1,700.
Okay, thank you, Judge Mathis.
I felt disrespected. She sent some paperwork to my mom's house, and I'm very, very upset about that because my mother's older. And that's one of the reasons why she don't have a man, because she's disrespectful towards my mom. I could take the disrespect towards me, but when you start disrespecting my mom to 69 years old, I don't have a lot of patience for that. And my mom was very nervous.
That's a complete lie. Mr. Marks is delusional. He needs to ask Judge Mathis for Dr. Fields' number so he can get some help. His mother called me personally and told me she was not upset. I did not stress her out.